As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be.
Oh man, it's 8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a.
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
Brav Bros. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Brav Bros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody. For whoever wants to listen, I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Shooter McReuniger.
You ended the Salt Lake reunion, or God damn it, you ended the Salt Lake recap on such a high. I don't know what that one was, but yeah, a little reunion action, and I am getting sad.
I know, it's almost over.
It's almost over. 3-part, and let me just tell you, this first part did not go how I thought it was going to go.
Not at all.
At all.
We got into lots of real shit.
Yeah. What happened to starting off the first part of the reunion? Not that I'm really complaining, I'm just confused. What happened to starting off the first part of the reunion with a couple of funny little storylines, a couple of how have things been since we stopped filming?
Real
Things
estate.
like that. Real estate.
You know?
Real estate. Let's talk real estate,
Like,
guys.
we
did kind of.
I guess we did, but I mean, like...
Does Ryan have his credentials? Who knows?
I don't know. Find out
Jen?
later. Does Jen? But
Probably not.
no, it was a great start. We jumped immediately into the Shannon stuff, the Jen and Ryan stuff, the Katie stuff, to the point where I guess what we're saving for 2 and 3, because the obvious elephant in the room here would be Johnny J, Alexis Bellino.
The elephant is not in the room yet.
No, the elephant's not in the room yet.
No.
But that's going to be the main talking point of this reunion. What I'm afraid of now, I guess they left enough with that's the thing. There's enough Jen and Ryan stuff still for episode 2, I would think. But what's because we know episode 3 is going to be Johnny J.
I think episode 2 is going to be Johnny J.
That's 3 then.
Clean up?
Clean up.
Anything else?
Clean up on aisle 5.
Clean up on aisle 5, yep.
Okay, fine.
Maybe. There is some things for sure, but I feel like we would have started off with the little things like
Is it a 2-parter?
like Emily's kids. It's 3 parts.
It is 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
They did announce that in the beginning.
Oh, maybe 2's the kids. There's a lot of kids.
Too many.
Could be a lot of
too many
kids.
kid stuff.
I don't know. Maybe the thing is, there was enough drama this season that there could be enough substance for 3 episodes.
Let's hope for that.
We are never
is
this optimistic
crazy,
about
I
reunions.
know.
We are usually very
I
negative.
mean, we did say all season we hope that this is a full 3-parter
did.
because we have so much to unpack. I just didn't expect the first episode to get into Tamra and Shannon.
We started with Shannon. I was
And
shocked.
then we went into Jen and Ryan. Like, it was very confusing that we did all of that.
Thrilled.
I figured the paparazzi gate was going to start it off.
I did too.
I knew that would be in the first episode, but
I thought that was going to be the
else-
first thing.
Yeah, appetizers.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
amuse-bouche.
Yeah.
But let's not waste. We're gonna try to break this down into a 2-parter. We like to do that with reunions if we can. There's a lot to jump into. This, I will say, as far as note taking goes, I'm the resident note taker.
Yep.
This was an easy one to track, which I was thrilled about. Usually reunions for me are a fucking disaster because there's 15 different things going on, people yelling over each other. I have to take like side notes and then parentheses and asterisks in my journal, which is already a mess. Shooter can tell you that.
Yep.
Turns into, it's completely illegible for me. And it's already illegible for most. Shooter always makes fun of my handwriting, but then it becomes unintelligible almost. Not this one. And that's big cadoos.
Big cadoos to the women on the cast.
Women on the cast, the whoever outlined this one.
It was actually really weird now that I'm just kind of thinking over the whole episode. I was going to say goodbye Andy, but he didn't ask a lot of questions.
He didn't. He just kind of set the stage.
He
and then
mediated a little bit, but he didn't really have to because they were kind of policing themselves.
it was refreshing to see people talking without people talking over.
Yeah.
There was moments where it happened, and it's always going to happen, but it was nice to hear people able to say their side of things and then have a retort. We're not used to that.
I'm still confused, yeah.
I'm lost. Why don't we jump in and we'll try to work this out.
We'll work it out.
We did find out that Shane, this is also impossible for me. Every single SH name, for whatever reason, on every single show, I write down as Seth. And you know I call Sean Angie K's husband.
Yeah.
I always call him Seth.
Uh-huh.
I wrote down Seth's working out. I cannot get away from the name Seth. Shane, Emily's husband, is working out once a week with a trainer, so that's good. We were worried about his health, so
Maybe Seth is working out in Ohio.
maybe. Uh-oh.
Something doesn't add up.
Hey, done that up. But let's jump in, and we start out with intentions. What are our intentions for this reunion? And we go through it, and Tamra, and why she was hurt, she wants to find common ground with Shannon is her goal for this one. We find out that she's starting therapy this week.
Uh-huh.
Which
she said, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
Thanks, Andy.
Why? He
Don't
wasn't congratulating you. He was saying, it sounds like you're starting therapy this week. Yes, I am. Thank you, by the way.
Thank you for bringing
what?
that up. And my other thing there, my discrepancy, you're starting therapy this week, but we found out well after this that at your first therapy session, you were diagnosed on the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Another lie, followed by a lie. I don't know when you started therapy. I don't know if you're in therapy. I don't know when you were quote unquote diagnosed on the spectrum, but your story doesn't add up.
Something doesn't add up.
That was your first session. That was after this. I can't. But Shannon is not interested in any kind of friendship. Makes it known right out of the gate. Her treatment was unacceptable. The entire friendship has been toxic. And I love that she pointed out to Tamra immediately. You love to highlight and exaggerate how close we were, how close we were. We were not that close. We talked on the phone. We weren't that close. So she's not interested in any kind of friendship. She's like, we can smooth it over, but like, I'm fucking done.
Well,
I'm
she
like,
even
"Oh,
said
yeah."
as soon as you got back on the show, that's when things kicked up and got worse,
Right.
which we've been saying the whole time.
Yeah, because she came on the show with a fucking vendetta.
Yep.
We get to Jen, and Jen wants to be better with Emily. And I don't know what stick Emily has up her ass about Jen. It hasn't made sense to me all season. They seem to come together towards the end, or at least be cordial-ish, in the middle, maybe.
Yeah.
In the middle. But my whole thing is, in the beginning we thought it was weird. She was attacking her about the Ryan and the money thing. It all comes back to Ryan, and people's dislike of him seems to be the root of most of Jen's problem with the other side of the room. But I don't know why she keeps harping on it. And Emily's like, well, I thought we were fine. And immediately sets the tone. She's like, maybe Ryan's in your ear because I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
You're a patent lawyer.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's clarify
Non-practicing.
Non-practicing patent lawyer.
To the point where everybody, including those of us watching at home, forget that you're a lawyer.
Right.
Nobody is actively thinking, I need to make sure that I say the right thing around Emily because she's a lawyer.
Nobody thinks that.
Nobody gives a shit.
The funniest part is as she's trying to astutely break down what's going on from a legal standpoint, it's like, this is all common sense that you're saying right now.
You just spent like probably 6 straight nights reading about court documents and other articles that formulated an opinion, but it wasn't an opinion, it was just things that you read.
Right.
But you're a lawyer.
We could all do that.
So we need to make sure that we take your word seriously.
Everything she said as far as explaining the legal process and like immunity and stuff, I'm like, yeah, bro.
Everyone knows
all
that.
know that.
Uh-huh.
None of this is great. And the way she sets it up, she's like, well, hold on. This is how it works in the law. It's like, yeah, this is very basic knowledge. If you're going to try to wow us, at least break out some like back in, 72, Rogers versus California.
Yeah.
Like that would be interesting, but you're not. You Googled it.
Bring up a couple of precedents.
Yeah, you Googled
we'll
it
figure
and
it out.
did what we could do. Like
Uh-huh.
that's not, it's whatever. But Katie's intention is to own some things. I'm like, all right, cool. I like that. That's a good start. And
She started off a little rocky.
yeah, she wasn't awesome this episode. I think she held her own towards the end.
Well, she didn't deserve what happened to her at the end.
Not at
But
all.
In the beginning, when she was just talking about her, I guess, time as a housewife, you could tell that she was off.
I think that look, it's her first reunion.
Nerves.
Yeah, nerves. They're gonna get you. It's honestly indicative of her season.
Mm-hmm.
Starts out a little shaky, and she wasn't bad in the beginning. You could just tell the nerves were getting
Yeah.
to her, and she owns it at the end. She gets a whole lot of help from the other side of the room. Like that other couch is, I don't know what they're fucking smoking.
I have no idea.
It's crazy. Like the whole that I can't wait to get to that part. That's gonna be in our part 2, so don't get too excited yet. But their behavior, they buried themselves. They were horrible. They weren't even. Nobody could root for that side of the room. I haven't seen anybody on social media that has anything nice to say about the right side of the room.
No, why would they?
They shouldn't. But I was very taken aback when Andy's like, all right, Shannon. I'm like, wow, we're starting with Shannon? That's crazy. And he's like, are you good? She's like, yeah, everything's good. I'm feeling really good right now. And my issue is that during this season, and I think this is everybody's issue, because everyone was flabbergasted by Heather's behavior towards the end, middle to the end, when she started to team up with Tamra. And she's like, it was crazy to me to sit back and watch as you agreed with Tamra time and time again. And especially considering, like, Gina, of all people, would have the biggest gripe because of how Shannon used to talk about her DUI and bring up CPS and all that other bullshit. Gina's the first one to be like, look, she made a mistake. She's remorseful. She has this new perspective on everything. And I'd be a fool not to embrace that. Tamra immediately is like, yeah, well, she waited till she was on camera. And I was so proud of Gina for being like, yeah, but, you know, when we met in Vegas or whatever that was, it was maybe BravoCon or something. She was like, I wasn't ready for it anyway. So the timing kind of worked out. And it's all good. It's not a big deal. Emily, I thought, was starting off well. I thought we were going to be okay because she's like, also, I might add, and this is what I was saying all season, the bullying didn't help her at all. Calling her an alcoholic, all this other shit. Like, there was no way that wasn't detrimental to what Shannon was going through. So I'm immediately like, all right, Emily's seeing the light a little bit. Maybe she's going to be okay because we have a history of liking Emily on this show.
Yeah.
Not anymore. But I was so curious how Tamra was going to play it because she's had time to sit on it. She's had time to simmer and think about her moves. And as we know, she likes to be calculated with this stuff and immediately plays the card I thought she would, which is the therapy approach and saying, looking back, my go-to is anger because I know it's going to get a rise out of people. And then she plays the friend card. I was there every single day, and Shannon came to fucking play. She's not putting up with anything. She's like, you were in Scotland immediately after. You were in
2 days after.
Yeah, but we talked on the phone. That's not the same.
No, it's not the same. And this segment did not go how I've been hoping it would go the entire season. Tamra did not get activated, which I am thankful for. When Tamra gets activated, it is one of the more annoying things to watch on TV.
Yeah.
She just starts screaming over people, and you can't really understand what she's saying, and then people just get tired of it and just move on, and she's like, I won.
Yeah.
We didn't really get that. She took a softer approach, but she was still spewing absolute nonsense, and I thought the same thing that you did. When Emily stepped in and said, can we stop with the bullying, stop with labeling her as an alcoholic? She's going through a lot. She was going through a lot the entire season, and you were relentless. Like, okay, good. That's a good start.
Good.
Maybe we're warming into this. Maybe Emily is going to peel the bandage off a little bit, and then everybody else is going to jump in and go after Tamra, because that's what we wanted. After watching Tamra the entire season attack Shannon at every fucking chance and then say, I'm doing the tough love thing by being a good friend and no one else is doing that for you, which is crazy to think. No one else jumped in.
Nobody.
Like, other people were coming to Shannon's defense, but only in a way of, Shannon, you're okay. Like, I'm proud of you for what you've been going through. You're in such a better place. Gina, obviously, I didn't expect her to go after Tamra right away, maybe a little bit later, but no one else did. And Tamra was somehow able to kind of skate through this relatively unscathed and still spew her nonsense and lie. And thankfully, Shannon has had it. And we did see towards the end of the season that Shannon was done with her, completely done, and she actually has her own voice and she can go after her. And we'll see probably more of that with Jen versus Tamra. But Shannon's able to stand up for herself, and that was at least nice to see. I just wanted more. I wanted Tamra to be held to the fire.
I did too, and I thought we were going to get more of that, and there were so many opportunities for people to jump in on Shannon's behalf, and they didn't. Bringing up the fact that, well, when you're at your program, you called me drunk, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't think you realize yet again, and no, it's not even think. I know that Tamra doesn't realize how damning that is, like how fucked up that is.
She doesn't care.
She was in a treatment center for 30 days. She claims they were drug testing and alcohol testing. We have no evidence of this alleged phone call except from Tamra, who does nothing but lie. So obviously I'm going to lean towards Team Shannon here. And for her to bring that up is so detrimental. And I'm glad that Shannon's in a place now where she's beyond it. Mm-hmm. Because again, if you question somebody like that, she's like, well, fuck it, if you don't believe me anyway. So I'm glad that she was able to stand her ground. It was just crazy. And it gets even better. Because Shannon's like, you do this every fucking year. You always we're only talking about my drinking again because you bring it up every season. This is the 10th reunion talking about, because Tamra says it. She goes, the 10th season, we're talking about her drinking. Because you fucking bring it up. No, I don't. Roll the tape.
Yep.
Boop, boop.
I think there was one time that Heather had brought it up, but Tamra probably started that one too. Let's be honest.
Every single time. she brought it up, and it's fucking so irritating. And you're right. The fact that not one person jumped in and said, Tamra, fuck you. Like, this is
But
bullshit.
you know what? That was wishful thinking the entire year. I just wanted her to get absolutely roasted. And it didn't happen all year. And it didn't happen last year when she was going after Jen and she was going after Heather towards the end of the year. Nobody ever holds her accountable. Nobody ever goes back after her for whatever reason. We've tried to ponder on it and tried to
Don't
figure
know
it out.
why.
We really cannot figure it out. Whether it's her reaction to it, maybe she's holding on to some like skeletons in a closet that she can break out and hold against you. We do not know why. But I guess it is crazy for us to think that this was going to happen at the reunion because we watched it happen all year. Tamra was going after Shannon every single episode, sometimes multiple times an episode, and calling her every bad name under the sun, insinuating that she's a terrible person, insinuating how much her alcoholism has gotten away, all of the things that we completely ripped her apart for. No one ever stepped up and actually tried to help Shannon.
Mhm.
We thought that maybe some people had found their voice towards the end of the season and they could step up, but still we're seeing this, and at least Shannon's in a better place to defend herself because I don't know why we would think that everybody else would maybe stand up for her.
Yeah. No, it's upsetting.
It's disheartening.
It's disheartening is a good way to put it. Yeah. But we get to the Shannon and Heather stuff briefly. And obviously we watched as that friendship disintegrated because Heather decided to take a weird stance against Shannon on Team Tamra over the Jeff Lewis thing. Again, we've talked about this so many times. What happened on Jeff Lewis was not a reason for her to call Shannon a liar. She did not lie. What she did was skate around the question. She said, I haven't thought about it, Jeff. That could mean a million things. What it doesn't say is, I'm lying, Jeff. I'm lying about this. And Heather's so fucking stuck on this stupid thing. And that's Shannon's biggest gripe is I came to you in Sonoma and I opened up to you about something that was really, really hard for me. I showed you a picture, and just because you found out that I had shown somebody previously and talked about it previously, you thought it was open season. She goes, nuh-uh, not until you're on Jeff Lewis. It's like, at no point is this your story to tell. That's the whole point. She came to you. She might have went to Tamra. Maybe she went to Gina. You don't know who she went to because it's none of your fucking business. She went to you and confided in you, and you flipped that on her when you saw her on a podcast because she didn't say to Jeff Lewis before the season was going to air what was going on and the conversation that you had had. That's none of your fucking business. And to sit on your laurels that she lied to you and say that she's using you and all this other crazy bullshit that Tamra's putting out there. Go ahead.
Heather retroactively told on herself.
Oh.
Because this stance that she was taking was, I only started talking about it because I saw it on Jeff Lewis. And once it was public knowledge to everybody else, then I started talking to everybody, which is whatever. I don't give a shit. That's neither here nor there. The issue during the season was that Heather turned it, as soon as Jeff Lewis came out, she turned it on Shannon and said, you used me.
Right.
But she didn't mention that at all in this whole little monologue that she did. We're not arguing about you then telling Tamra and talking to other people in the group about it, because once it's on Jeff Lewis, then yes, okay, fine, whatever. I don't give a shit about that. You made it about yourself, saying that Shannon was using you. We've said all along, Shannon didn't cop to it and have a longer conversation with Jeff Lewis on the show because she was uncomfortable. Why would she want to talk about that? For a number of reasons. The lawsuit that was pending. Johnny J could use this against her in various different ways. She did not want to get into it on a show, but she talked to you as a friend, and then you threw it back in her face and said that you were using, or she was using you. That makes no sense. You made it about yourself. That's the issue now. If you hadn't done that, I think that we would be over this.
Oh, definitely.
I think that you could then say, look, you talked about it on Jeff Lewis. I was just discussing with other people, and it came up that you would talk to me about it. That was it. And then Shannon would have probably moved on. But you made it about yourself in such a sticking point in a weird way, saying that Shannon had used you, and then you aligned yourself with Tamra. So this is still on you, and it's still your fault. And the fact that you're not talking about that part of it shows to me that you just did this for yourself.
I agree. And I think that's something that's not like Heather's strong suit, is like, she's not good at moving past things if she feels like she's slighted.
Yeah.
Because she needs that person to be like, you're right, Heather. That's not going to happen here. That's when she starts to get dragged down and act like an asshole. And we've seen it, and we're going to see it much more later with Katie. You had an out, like you just said. This isn't that deep. You can say, you know what, Shannon, I'm sorry. You trusted me, and I broke your trust. I saw the Jeff Lewis thing. I had a lot of questions. Talk about it with Shannon.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it with fucking Tamra, who's going to spew hate and all this other nonsense. And then it's going to... The fact that Heather Dubrow's brain was infiltrated by Tamra Judge's thoughts is not something I saw coming. But everything Heather's saying, I'm like, you sound like Tamra.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing because that was never your role. You were always pretty good at staying out of things you didn't want to get involved in, and you've been dragged to Tamra's level by Tamra, and you're accepting it. And I hope that they watch the season back and they're like, oof, magoof.
Big time oof.
Yeah, terrible look. You're now being talked about on Tamra's level, where before even people that didn't like you at least respected you. Not anymore. That's out the window.
You're going to have to hold on to that oof magoof.
Oof magoof.
Yeah.
Is that like a soundboard?
No,
For
an
your introduction name, yeah.
Oof
I'll wait till like
magoofer.
the Eagles lose a big game, which is coming at some point.
Oh God.
Yeah, buddy. But then we get to the Travis and Gina stairs incident and the fact that this story was discussed. Why Tamra decided it was necessary to bring it up. She's saying that it was because Shannon is claiming that Shannon says that the ex reached out to Tamra. Tamra saying, I don't even know what her name is. Don't believe that for a second.
Nope.
The whole thing stinks. We talked about it during the season when it happened. There's no reason for this to be discussed now. It's been a thing before. We don't have to bring it back up. Travis is doing whatever the fuck he's doing to try to figure out things with his ex so he can move back in with his current girlfriend. It's a fucking disaster. It's a shit show. There's children involved. Shut the fuck up, Tamra. Like, it's so annoying that this is coming back up, and then you're pointing it somewhere else. It's like, oh, Shannon's fault. It's like,
Well,
you brought it up.
that's what she always does. She does not care about the collateral damage of Gina. And look, I'm happy that at least Gina knows that Shannon's probably not the culprit, and she can do that towards Tamra.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that Tamra's just going to point the finger back at Shannon. Shannon's not having it at all. She doesn't want a friendship, and this is the best thing for Shannon. By saying, I don't want any sort of friendship or anything, any resolution with Tamra at all, this is perfect. Because now, anytime that she points the finger back at you, you can go scorched earth on her. And that's the only way that you're going to be able to get through this with making Tamra look like an asshole. Because if you do forgive her towards the end, and we kind of allude to it here and there, and Shannon's not having it, I just don't expect Gina to be the one to go right at Tamra and say, why the fuck are you putting this out here?
She's not
It
gonna.
doesn't make. She's not going to. But it's enough for me, because I know Gina and I know how she is. It's enough for me that she's not even looking in Shannon's direction saying, this is your fault. She's looking at Tamra at least saying, this shouldn't come up. This should stay private. This is something that we worked through. This should not be a topic of discussion at the reunion during the season at all. I don't care what your vendetta is against Shannon and trying to throw her under the bus. It should not be mentioned. And we agreed with that. And that's enough, I guess, for Gina's psyche to just leave it at that and move on. Because we don't need to get like into the nitty gritty of it, because you know how that's going to happen. Tamra's going to start pulling out her phone and showing text messages about her and Shannon going back and forth about this whole thing. We don't need that. We just don't.
No, let it lie. But Emily, again, I'm like, oh, there's hope here. Because she says to Tamra, she's the only one to be like, dude, just say sorry. Just say sorry. All you got to do is say sorry. And Tamra thinks that Emily is talking to Shannon.
Yep. How delusional can you be?
Like, bro, what? In what world does Shannon owe you an apology for how you treated her all season? She was playing defense the entire season because of your bullshit. And you think at any point, any of these women owe you an apology. Nobody owes you. You're always the common denominator.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you're always involved in tension and bullshit is your fault. Look around. No one else is bringing up these crazy fucking things. You're the one that brought up Ryan and the FBI. You're the one that caused the scene at the dinner. You're the one that keeps bringing up Shannon's drinking. You're the one that keeps calling her a drunk. You're the one that keeps alluding to her continuing to be a drunk. You're the problem. You are constantly the problem. So I don't know what you learned in that therapy lesson, but you need to just look in the mirror. Where are all of my issues coming from? If you look in the mirror, you'll see it because it's staring you in the fucking face. If you are constantly involved in bullshit, tension, arguments, and fights, and you can't figure out why, especially considering Jen went through it with you last year, you somehow made your way back to being friends with her. Every single person in this group that you've had tension with, that you made up with, Shannon, Jen, I'm sure there's others, you now have problems with again. Who's the culprit there? Because you're seeing Jen. She's trying to be peaceful. She's trying to make friends with people. She's playing middle of the road a lot of the way. She's taking accountability for her stupid mistakes, where she's at in life right now. You're looking at Shannon, who is outwardly speaking about how she fucked up, outwardly speaking about how she's trying to get her life together, outwardly speaking about being a better person and trying to create boundaries. Who is the fucking problem? How is it this hard to get through your dense skull that you're the issue? Your own fucking husband looks miserable when you start doing your antics. Look back at that dinner. Eddie's sitting there in a fucking blanket like a battered husband about to sob. He looks like, you said it last week, like there was a car accident and they put one of those fucking blankets over him as he's dealing with the trauma. You're the issue. I don't know why is it this? Like, it hurts my brain. It hurts my brain that we talk about this every week, and it's so obvious to literally everyone except for the right side of that fucking room on that goddamn couch and Tamra herself. How is this even a fucking topic? What's going on? I'm losing my mind right now.
No, I like audibly laughed at Tamra saying, "Yeah, you should apologize." That means that she went into this reunion, which is even crazier, thinking that she was going to get an apology from Shannon.
That's a good point.
Which means she probably also thinks she's going to get an apology from Jen.
Oh my God, you're right.
How delusional can you be?
She's the mayor of Delululand.
She's the president. She is everything in Delululand. She's the only resident of Delululand as far as I'm concerned. I've never seen somebody be so delusional, so quick to say, yeah, she should apologize. We're talking about you.
It's you, bro.
And look, Emily saying this, like, yeah, people are going to laugh it off and say that this was just a little funny moment. It shows you how unwell she is as a person.
That's a good point.
Her brain is fucked.
It's literally the only identity she has is Tamra Judge, the housewife. She has no attachment to the real world.
We should start feeling bad for Tamra.
There's part of me that does.
Yeah.
There's part of me that genuinely does when I watch shit like this.
We're sorry for Tamra.
I'm not apologizing on her behalf.
No. No. I said we feel sorry for Tamra.
You said we're sorry for Tamra. Yeah.
Yeah.
Words matter.
She's a sorry person.
It's just crazy. It's crazy. I don't know. For whatever reason, there's like this inkling of hope where it's like there's been enough time passed. You have to at least see the error of your ways a little bit. She doesn't.
Nope.
And she never will. And the fact this was the beginning of the decline for Emily this episode, because she's saying to Shannon, you were mean to Gina. Like, you apologized. You guys are cool. Like, can't you find your way to like, no. Why? That's not the same thing, by the way. The way that Shannon talked...
That was a weird one, though, too, because if you're saying you were mean to Gina and you apologize to Gina and Gina goes, yeah, that actually felt really good in the moment that you had apologized to me.
Still implying that Shannon's wrong.
It is. And it's trying to make her feel a type of way that she would accept apologies from Tamra. But we all know how apologies from Tamra go, and we're going to get into it in a second. Why, in Shannon's mind, would she accept an apology from Tamra? She's not even going to listen to her because you know how that's going to go. But I agree with you. Yes, that is Emily laying the groundwork for trying to guilt Shannon into accepting an apology from Tamra so they can be friends again. Did you not listen to Shannon for the first 15 minutes of this episode?
Not interested.
She is not interested in a friendship with Tamra, and why would she be? Did you not watch any of the episodes? It was fucking insane the way that Tamra was going after someone who's going through a lot, who we gave credit for, and we did at least point out a couple of scenes like, all right, Shannon, maybe that's not the best way to go about it. Not a great look. But we did give her credit because it seemed like she was trying to actually get through it instead of just sticking her head in the sand and saying, no, I'm not wrong. I'm never wrong. I need to move forward with my life, and this is how I'm going to do it, unlike how Tamra does it. That's how Tamra approaches life. Do not try to guilt Shannon into accepting an apology because Tamra, one, didn't even recognize what you were talking about.
She didn't know she had to apologize.
She thought she was going to get apologized too. So if she's starting off that way, would you accept an apology from somebody like that? No. So no, she's not going to. No, she shouldn't.
Especially considering, Emily, you started out, your first thing that you said in this episode was the bullying was a lot.
Uh-huh.
You're understanding what happened. You know what happened. So also to use that comparison of you apologize to Gina is implying that you need to apologize it's not the same situation.
Also, Gina needed an apology.
Because she was
And
rude.
Shannon gave her, from what I remember, a pretty heartfelt apology.
A pretty, like, holy shit, now that I've been through it, I am so sorry about the
Yeah.
way I behaved. I'm so sorry about what I said.
And that was a good apology that Gina accepted and moved on with.
It's not.
And liked it and said that it made her feel good.
Yeah.
Shannon's not going to feel good from a Tamra apology. We all
No.
know what that is.
Because the difference being, Shannon has actually, we've watched her work on herself this season.
Yep.
So when that apology comes from Shannon to Gina, and they've also had conversations about the topic, they understand one another now. So now when Shannon says, holy shit, I behaved horribly in regards to your DUI, I get it now. I'm genuinely sorry, period.
Yep.
What Tamra's going to do is, I'm sorry, but we were friends and I was there for you and you called me drunk and here we go again. Just say sorry and shut the hell up because you're not doing yourself any favors. And Emily, butt the hell out.
Yeah.
You don't belong here for this one. You were cool in the beginning when you said stop bullying. Yes, good. Not, can you accept the apology?
It just doesn't make any sense. And obviously, like you just said, this is Emily's spiral down starting here. You just had the thought of telling Tamra that she should apologize. Don't you feel like you should apologize? And when Tamra didn't recognize that you were talking to her, shouldn't you just shut up at that point?
Yes.
Shouldn't you just realize who you're talking to and say, you know what? Don't.
That's embarrassing.
That's embarrassing. I'm not going to. Then you turn to the person that you just begged to get an apology. It just doesn't make any sense. Nothing here made any sense at all. That Emily was somehow, she's trying to do the mediating thing where I'm going to be a friend to both of you.
Well, she is a
I'm
lawyer.
going to tell you what. Yeah, she is a lawyer. That's how patents are made. We get two people in a room together and they have to agree on something. No, not at all. She's going to sit there as a friend and say, I need to tell you both what's going to be best for you. Tamra, you need to actually apologize. Shannon, you need to accept it. No, because you're not going to get that from either of them.
All you got from Shannon was to brush it off, which I appreciate. She's like, I'll accept your apology, but we're fucking done.
Yeah.
This is over. Emily, you're not going to save this friend. I don't know why it's so important for you to save the friendship. There is no friendship to be had. Like you just pointed out, the fact that Emily wants to say anything after Tamra's like, yeah, I would love that. Nah, bruh. You apologize. Oh, shit. If I'm Emily, I'm going, oh, she doesn't get it at all.
No.
I'm not going to damage my name by trying to speak on her behalf because she's not making any fucking sense and she's doing a really bad job. Maybe don't attach yourself to people that are going to make you look stupid. I'm talking to the entire right side of the room at this point.
Just a
that
thought.
Whole couch. Because we're going to get into it in episode 2. Because that's the Katie stuff, that's the Ryan and Jen stuff a little bit, and the Heather stuff specifically. But foreshadowing, especially for those of you that watched it, obviously, that, I don't know, all I can think of at this point, and especially watching the end of the season, I'm not sure what the trigger was to get all of the support behind Tamra. I don't know if it was the Jeff Lewis thing. I don't know if Heather's pissed off at Katie and that extended into jumping on Tamra's team somehow. Like, Heather got so rattled this season to the likes that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And now she's playing in the mud and it's a terrible fucking look. I don't know where this turning point was. At what point in the season Emily and Heather went to Tamra's team, but it needs to be studied. I need to know the specific moment in time where they were like, fuck Shannon, we're about to jump over here. Fuck Katie, we're about to jump over here. Over again, and we're going to get in this episode too. The Katie dilemma was so minuscule and something that was discussed all season last season.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are you, as an OG housewife, going to get rattled by a paparazzi rumor?
Which, by the way, after all of it's said and done, we now know that it's definitely true that you called the paparazzi.
Without a
We've
doubt.
known this entire time, but the way you're acting and the way that you defected to Tamra's team just goes to show us more that we are so right, knowing that paparazzi were called to go and watch you and Terry walk around Disneyland.
Because there were cheating rumors.
But it's fucking innocuous. Who gives a shit anymore? It is not that deep. It's not that serious. And yeah, I think that the Jeff Lewis thing finally pushed Heather over. Let's go after Shannon because I feel like she did this to me and I'm going to make this about myself. Shannon is going through a lot. You're not. That's really all it is.
Oh, wait a minute.
How about you just leave her alone?
Wait a minute.
What?
Is the root of Heather's regression this season and jumping onto Tamra's team because she was not center stage this season. She was getting overshadowed by Shannon, overshadowed.
She's still
by
the center
Katie.
orange.
I
We're gonna
understand
do
that.
the Angie K thing.
Fine, but you cannot point to this season and be like, this was a Heather-centric season. It certainly was not. It was about Shannon. It was about Katie. It was about Jen and Ryan. Jen should be the center orange from this season, without a doubt. Was she taking that out because she's not that important of a piece this season? Because she really
Maybe she wanted to play a little bit more and she wanted to be involved. So the only way that I know how to do that is to get with Tamra because she knows she's always up to something.
She's gonna do something to pull me into this.
The Emily thing I don't understand though, because she, as we pointed out before, started off with a lot of weird comments about Jen and her money. And then it kind of seemed to go away.
She retracted.
She retracted a lot of it and kind of stayed out of a lot of it and then became kind of like a central figure where she could talk to both sides. And in London, she was sitting down and having breakfast with Shannon, but then she was able to go with Tamra and Heather somewhere. So she was able to play both sides. So I don't understand why now she's taking such a huge stance against the other side of the room.
I think the one thing that remains constant with
The Katie thing. Oh, it's Katie's daughter is the babysitter. That's
it.
why Emily's
That's
pissed off.
it.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
her big
All right,
thing.
we're starting to file through it. I like that. That's definitely where that shifted. But it's also, if you point to Emily's confessionals throughout the season, she will be on somebody's team and then go to a confessional and say something against that person. We've seen that before. So it wasn't like the most shocking thing, but you're right. The shift happened with 8-year-old rumors.
Yeah.
That's also embarrassing. You're getting rattled by children. All right? Even Kaylee is a child. I mean, she's 20.
Yep.
Maybe. Is she 20 yet?
She's 19. Or at the time of the filming, yeah.
She's a 19-year-old. You're talking about a 19-year-old babysitter and 2 children. That's you're going to attach your trailer
To the
to
devil.
Tamra over rumors from children.
Yep.
What the fuck? And
And
Heather,
it's not making, and look, I understand the perspective of it'll make for good TV because it's even teams and maybe I can go
No.
over here and just stir some shit up. I'm sorry, but aligning yourself with Tamra is not the same as doing that on any other housewife show. You
No.
do that with Tamra, you're selling your soul. That's all you're doing. And you look awful and you know that the fans are going to be against you.
yes.
Because there are a few Tamra fans out there. Shout out Ryan Stoneman, of course.
Yeah, Ryan, we
Have
got
to
you.
do it
bro.
every
We got
episode.
you, dude.
But most people watching this show are looking at Tamra saying she is deplorable. Why would you ever want to hitch your wagon to that? I just
idea.
don't understand that idea from a housewife who, let's be honest, you're either going to be a main villain if you want to continue to be on this show and get some sort of support, or you need to be a central figure with a good storyline. And the only way to do that is to have Tamra on the opposite side. So I just don't understand the thinking of all of this because it just doesn't add up for me.
It seems so cut and dry to me. Like there is no wiggle room here. Like the obvious way to look better this season is to go after the person that looked horrible.
Yeah.
And instead they're rallying behind her and pointing fingers elsewhere. It's just crazy talk. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, but we will get into the rest of it in episode 2. Don't you worry. And that's already up, so you can just go on and head over to that. We just like to break the reunions. We like to break up when there's a lot of stuff to get into, just so you have time to little intermission.
Yeah.
Go grab a snacky poo if you're at work. Maybe go hit the water cooler. You know, Stay-
Talk about the episode.
yeah, do some water
Our
cooler
episode,
talk.
not
yeah.
the reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if your coworkers aren't listening to us, what are they doing?
Yeah, go stick an AirPod in their ear.
Yeah.
Without,
Well, maybe don't. Yeah, it's not very sanitary, but yeah,
wipe,
walk over and boop.
put hand sanitizer on it and stick it in
Yeah,
there.
there you go.
While it's still wet.
That'll work.
I'm sure that'll be fine. You won't get a letter from HR.
No,
I don't work in offices.
no, you don't.
I
Yeah.
don't work in offices. Anyway, we'll see you back for episode 2, the conclusion.
Oh yeah.
The conclusion. Rob Rossetti.